Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing just a wrap up and TBR video. I try to do these every month, but if you watched my last video, you know this already. I was sick for pretty much all of February, and I filmed my January wrap up and February TBR, but I did not have the strength to edit it pretty much. I was like, for the first 2 weeks of February, I want to say I was basically just like sleeping. So I decided to just include January's wrap up in my February wrap up and March TBR because I did not read very much these first 2 months, which is also a little concerning considering what my TBR looks like for March. I'm not doing the TBR jar this month because first of all, we're already a week in, and second of all, I just have some plans for some videos and for some other things that I wouldn't really be able to. I'd be able to choose like 2 from the TBR jar. It just doesn't seem worth it this month, so probably go back to that next month. But anyway, so I'm going to start off with what I've read so far this year, basically, and do just a quick little wrap up there. So the first book I read this year was Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. 5-star book. Sorry. I'm reading, my Notion is up behind the camera and I'm reading it. Oh, I had a change of scenery today. I just felt like it. So you are on my desk, my computer is behind you, and this is my little accent wall instead of my paneling that's around the rest of the room. Anyway, so Project Hail Mary is by Andy Weir, and I gave it 5 stars, and it was my first read of the year. I finished it on January 1st, I believe. I had started reading it a while ago. I got it out of the library a while ago, and then like in November or October, November, and then I didn't finish it. I got it out on my Kindle, and I don't know. I didn't like reading it on my Kindle, so I ended up just returning that early, and I got it. A physical version of it from my library. And I will probably buy a physical version of it eventually. I just haven't yet because it's not what I'm prioritizing spending my money on right now. So it is on my list, even though I've already read it, but I gave it 5 stars and I can see myself reading it a lot more. So we'll probably buy that soon. Anyway, it's about this guy who wakes up on a spaceship in space by himself. His crewmates are dead. He doesn't remember anything. And then you have so the way the story is structured is the reader doesn't know anything either. You're learning with the main character, and he is stranded in space on a spaceship. He doesn't remember why he's there. He doesn't even remember his name or his job or any of that at first. And you have his present time on the spaceship, and then he has flashbacks throughout, so you're learning with him all of that information. I think going into this book pretty much completely blind is ideal. I think I've talked about it before. I think I talked about it in a video in January, maybe. I don't remember. But really good book, would recommend if you are into sci-fi. It has some really fun twists, and I enjoy the way that Andy Weir writes and the way that he writes his characters. I know some people think that the characters in The Martian and Project Hail Mary are very similar and that the plot line is very similar, and yes, they're both guys stranded in space, but I think the way that they act, the way they talk to themselves and to other people, and the way that they problem solve is different. So I don't see that complaint, but that is what I saw the most in Goodreads. So to each their own. I think it has a pretty good rating on Goodreads though. So highly recommend. It was my first book of the year, and so far it is my favorite new book of the year that I've read, which is not a high bar because I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've read 9 books so far this year. So not a ton. I mean, it's not a bad amount. It's like a book a week, but it's not a ton of books either. And 3 of them were novellas, so I guess we'll talk about those next. I read the STEMinist novellas by Ali Hazelwood, so those are Under One Roof, Stuck With You, and Below Zero. They are about women in STEM, and like most of her books have been. I gave all of them 4 stars because I thought they were fun, and like, they're novellas, right? They're around 100 pages, a little bit over 100 pages, I think. I wasn't going into them expecting some great romance. I was expecting a fun little time, and I feel like that's what I got. I feel like they were different enough that they all deserved the 4 stars. And I like Ali Hazelwood's writing. Again, that's just like, I enjoy her writing. I think it's fun. And reading those led me to read Love Theoretically again, even though I just read it a few months before. This was in January, so I had just read it in like October, November probably. But it's my favorite Ali Hazelwood book, so I felt like rereading it. And my library had it with no wait, so I just got it on my Kindle and read it immediately after reading her novellas. I believe I gave that one either 4.5 or 5 stars. I didn't write it down and I don't remember, but I definitely talked about it on this channel before. I would recommend if you like romances, if you like women in STEM, if you like academia, or if you live in Boston, because it's set in Boston. The last published work that I read in January was Red, White, and Royal Blue. I'm not actually 100% sure what order I read them in because I was really bad at tracking them on Goodreads in January, so they might not be in order. But Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I did read it because I really liked the movie. I did watch the movie first. I'm sorry. I had the book on my shelf before the movie was even out. I just never read it, even though my friend Emily was like, oh, it's like a rom-com in a book. It's so good. I never read it. And then I did read it in January and I loved it. It was so good. The movie is good. The book is good. I enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 stars. I'm sorry that I don't have a better like summary or remembrance of these books. It's not that I don't remember what happened. I remember what happened, but 1, I don't want to spoil anything. 2, I've talked about Love Theoretically before. The STEMinist novellas, if I told you about them, you'd know exactly what happens. Red, White, and Royal Blue, if you haven't read it, go read it. If you like romance and you are okay with queer romance, which if you're not, that might be an issue. But it was, so Red, White, and Royal Blue was good. It was cute. It was fun. It was a rom-com in a book, and they turned it into a nice rom-com that I enjoyed. In February, I only have 2 books that were published that I read. I read a lot of fan fiction. I tend to read fan fiction a lot when I'm sick. I have not been logging my fan fiction because, one, most fan fiction authors don't want you to log it on Goodreads, so I removed everything that I had done that a couple times on Goodreads before I knew that fanfiction authors didn't like it, and I have since removed my reviews and even the log that I read them. If you really want to have them contribute towards your reading goal, there's like placeholders that you can find, and you can just add new dates read for all of them, and then keep a personal like spreadsheet or a list or something of the fan fiction that you're reading if you want to know that for yourself. Anyway, I read a lot of fan fiction and I'm not going to talk about it. It was all Harry Potter fan fiction. It was not my usual fan fiction, but it was, set in the Harry Potter universe, which is comforting for me, and so I tend to read that when I'm sick because it doesn't require very much brain power. So I either do that or I reread things that I've already read. The published books that I read in February were Wildfire by Hannah Grace. It's the 2nd book in the Icebreaker universe. I forget what it's called, UCMH series maybe. And I need to look at what stars, what I gave it. Oh my god, what I gave it on Goodreads. I am all over the place with talking right now. It's literally 11:30 p.m., so that makes sense. So I gave Wildfire 4 stars. It was cute. I liked that it was insta lust. Like, that's the whole crux of the story, is that they have a one night stand and then, oh my gosh, we have to spend the summer at a summer camp together. But it wasn't like they immediately fell in love with each other. I hate insta love. Anyway, I gave it 4 stars. I liked it. So Aurora and Russ are the main characters in this. I thought they were both pretty well written. I remember now, after thinking about it a little bit, there were some parts of the emotional storyline between them, not between them, but like them as individuals, that I felt like the author was trying to make them the same person. Like it felt very, very similar to me, their childhoods and the way that they were dealing with it and stuff. And it's not the same. It's not. But there were just a few points where I was like, okay, I don't know. This feels like they're too, I don't know. Something about it felt off to me, I guess, is the best way I can put it. I'm not very good at vocalizing that sometimes, putting words to it, but I still gave it 4 stars and I did really enjoy it, and I am excited for the next one, which comes out in April, I want to say, or May. I will look up the exact date and put it over here when I'm editing, because that is going to be a fun time. Her books are just a fun time, in my opinion. The second book that I read was Romancing Mr. Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. It's Penelope and Colin's book, which is the next season, which is coming out in May. And I keep seeing it all over my TikTok page. Well, not so much anymore, but the trailer dropped and I was like, I rewatched season 2. I don't really like season 1 of Bridgerton, sorry. But I rewatched season 2 because I love season 2. And if they can't do the tension and the yearning the same way in season 3 that they did in season 2, I'm going to be so disappointed. I didn't rate it on Goodreads. I'd say I give it a 3.5 maybe. I enjoyed it. I was kind of I don't know. I was expecting to like it more. It was a reread. And I liked it more the first time I read it, and I like it less this time. So, and then I am going to just shout out that I already read a book in March. I read it a couple days ago. I read my first Elsie Silver book. I read Off to the Races. I gave it 4 stars. I give a lot of books 4 stars. I'm not mean. I feel bad giving books anything other than 4 stars, anything under 4 stars. That said, I did enjoy Off to the Races. I thought it was fun. It was cute. I was looking for a cowboy romance, which it was not. She was more of a cowgirl than the male love interest. But I'm okay with that. That was also kind of cool because she's badass. I read that a couple days ago and it was really cute. I was just looking for a cowboy romance. So I'll probably read more Elsie Silver as I want just a fun romance. I'll probably read the next one in the Gold Rush Ranch series. Elsie Silver has a couple of different series. She has the Gold Rush Ranch one, which is the one that I just read, the first one of, and then she has the Chestnut Springs one, which I want to say is the more popular one. I feel like I see that more often. That's the one that's flawless, heartless, powerless, and reckless, and hopeless. And maybe more, they all came out. They came out in 2022 and 2023, so maybe not more. But I plan on giving those a shot at some point as well. I've heard a lot about them. The physical books look great. They look really pretty. However, all of those books are on Kindle Unlimited. So if you are looking for a cute romance and you like horses and you have Kindle Unlimited, look up Elsie Silver and they're interconnected standalones. You don't necessarily have to read all of them. So whichever one strikes your fancy, read it. I think it'll be a good time for you. Okay, now we're gonna get into my TBR. So I'm talking with my hands a lot in this video. I'm so sorry. Like I said, my TBR is kind of stacked up for this month. Stacked, full. My TBR is kind of full, kind of long this month, especially considering I read 2 books last month. But I'm already halfway to reading the same amount of books this month. So I don't know if I'll actually read all of these this month, but it's the plan. So to start with, let me show you what I got out of the library yesterday or the day before, in the past couple of days. So, I got The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue there's gonna be a glare on it because of the light that I have, by V.E. Schwab. I got The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue because of my friend's recommendation. No, that's what it was. My friend Nicole read it. I asked, spoiler, one of the videos that I'm planning on doing this month, and one of the reasons I have such a long TBR this month, is because I want to do a video where my friends choose what I'm reading. So initially I was going to read 2 books from everyone because I thought I was asking 3 people. And then I asked 5, so I am choosing one of the 2 that they recommended. I'm not going to tell you what all of them are, because then why would you go watch the video? Well, I guess you would watch it to hear my thoughts, but that would ruin the fun. So just know that what I'm showing you as my TBR right now, I have 4 more books, because The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is one of those books that I'm reading for that, but I have the physical copy from the library, so I felt like I should just tell you about that one. I don't know, it's a teaser. That's what it is. It's a teaser to make you want to come hear my thoughts on The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. It won't be in my March wrap-up if I do that video. I mean, it'll be there, but I'll share more of my thoughts in the Friends Choose My Reads video. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm making any sense in this video. I feel like I could just very well be babbling at the camera and making no sense whatsoever, because I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep. I need to go to bed, but I also need to film, and I don't feel tired at the moment. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is about a young woman named Adeline, who meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. She makes a bargain to be able to live forever, but she won't be able to be remembered by anyone she sees. So she flees her small village and everything she knew, and goes out to live life. And then on her birthday every year, Luke comes to visit, checking to see if she's ready to give up her soul. And then 300 years later, she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name, and suddenly everything changes again. So the next book, who's this by? The next book is that I also got from the library at the same time that I got The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, is Pride and Protest, which is a Pride and Prejudice retelling. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but I really like Pride and Prejudice. I watched it for the first time, actually, 2 years ago, maybe. My friend Emily made me watch it. Pride and Protest by Nikki Payne is about Liza B., who wants to take her neighborhood back from a property developer that is putting up condos on every street corner in DC. Dorsey Fitzgerald is the CEO she is trying to take down, essentially, and he thinks that she's just performing outrage and not really caring about it. And then her protest results in a viral meme, and their lives are turned upside down. And Dorsey comes to realize this irresistible revolutionary is the most real woman he has ever met. So after those books, I don't know what order I'm going to read them in, but however the mood strikes me. I'm a mood reader, but those are like the books that I'm going to hopefully be reaching for, plus the 4 other books that my friends recommended me. So I'm not going to tell you what they are. The other books on my list are all a part of a series that I have read many, many times since they came out when I was a kid. And you can tell, when I show you these, you'll be able to tell that they are well loved. I borrowed these from my sister. The next thing on my TBR, the last part of my TBR for March 2024, is the Mediator series by Meg Cabot. I feel like I talk about Meg Cabot a lot. I'm a big fan of her books, I just want you guys to keep in mind that these books were written early 2000s at best. Hang on, let me look at the publishing date. The first book was literally published in 2000. So if you ever go to pick these up, keep in mind where we were as a society in 2002, 2005. I don't know when the last one came out. I'm putting that out there as a disclaimer if you guys decide to ever read these books. There's 6 of them. Technically there's more. There's a novella and a 7th book. I'm not counting those in this reread because I don't feel like it. The Mediator series is about a girl named Suze. She's, I think, 16 in the first book. It doesn't say. And she's living in New York City with her mom at the beginning of the book. And then they move to California, to Carmel Hills, to live with her mom's... Do they get married? It doesn't say on the back. It doesn't mention any of that. But I think her mom gets remarried, and she goes to live with her stepbrothers and stepdad. I don't know why I said stepbrothers first. 3 stepbrothers, stepdad, Carmel Hills. She starts going to she's a mediator. She can see ghosts. She's always been able to see ghosts. Her dad died when she was young, and she's been seeing him since. They talk, his ghost. And where they moved to has a lot of historical stuff. And somebody was murdered in their house or near their house, and he lives in her bedroom. His name is Jesse. And then she's going to this school where the only reason she got in is because a girl died over winter break. So guess who the first ghost she has to deal with for the first book? That girl. So it's basically just 6 books about her time dealing with all of that. And it has this really fun relationship with the priest at the school because it's a Catholic school. Yeah, it's a Catholic school. And it has this really fun dynamic with the father, the priest at the school. And I don't know, I love the dynamic. Suze kind of sucks. Every time I reread the books, I'm like, wow, she is not like other girls. But at the time period that this came out, well, I was 4. But when I was reading these in middle school, I didn't want to be like other girls either. It was the Twilight era. Nobody wanted to be like other girls. So, it is what it is. I love the series, and I am just feeling a reread of them. So I also feel like we need more ghosts in the romance genre, romance contemporary fiction genre that's less fantasy, more realism. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you're reading this month, or what you read last month, or if you read any of these books and have any thoughts about them that you'd like to share. Or recommendations, as always. You can always leave me book recommendations. I will probably go at them on Goodreads as soon as I see them. I really appreciate you all tuning in. And subscribe, give me a thumbs up. And that's it. Okay, love you, bye.